that's basically what this exercise is for. Let's have a really good and grounded discussion, bearing in mind the guidelines for bridge makers. And yeah, I'm always really excited to see where this particular exercise goes.
Yay. Thank you, Vinya. So, norms for bridge makers, to go through that, we're starting late, so I'm going to go through them quickly. Say hello, say goodbye. That's a really important one. This is a way to keep putting the human back in relationship and recognizing that when you disappear, we're going to miss you. So, if there's technical issues, go ahead and just get on our Discord and tell us what happened. But ideally, stick in it for the event. This is an hour and a half event, and we have a lot of fun. And then the first question is meant to be playful, get some fire going. We throw some shade. There's just no like point to it except that we learn how to do the process. So have fun with it. It gets a little more serious as we get higher and higher in these questions. And ideally, we have somebody who's been to the event before that's going to volunteer for each of them. We have quite a turnout today, so this is going to be exciting. Please don't stay on neutral if at all possible. And also, there's an invitation, which is to take on a perspective that you wouldn't normally agree with and really represent it. This is not about getting your answers right. This is about learning the spectrum of perspectives for any issue. And so don't tell us if you're not telling the truth about your issue, but try to stretch and be a representation of an issue you wouldn't necessarily normally agree on. And this is the practice of doing that. Okay, any questions?
Wait, one more time. Did you say that you can adopt or practice a perspective that you don't actually agree with?
Yes, yes.
Um,
The
oh,
encouragement
okay.
for everybody here is to be passionate and take on perspectives that are not yours and really try to represent from angles you wouldn't normally do. And
Oh, I could do the
Think about
passionate
it
part. I
as
just didn't know that it was advised to
mhm,
practice
practice
supporting a
multiple
viewpoint that you
perspectives.
actually normally don't.
Exactly. Yeah.
Okay.
This is important because otherwise we get our egos wrapped into I'm right and you're wrong. And so assume that everybody is taking on alternate perspectives. And your job is to be as convincing and convicted as you can of whichever line you picked. For the goal for every single one of these is to get a spectrum. Okay, so who wants to volunteer to lead number one? Just had all this pre Yay! I was going to do it. Okay, wow, get us going.
Okay, give me some time. Um, so we are gonna do the round one. I'm gonna make sure everyone see the questions. Okay, let's start. Question one: if there's no coming traffic, it is okay to turn left at a red arrow light. Everyone stand on the neutral line. Ran. Okay, so we're gonna move on the how much do you agree or disagree on the line. That's like two sides, and that's strongly disagree to strongly agree. Okay, we're gonna move soon. Okay, I hope I give enough time. Now, three, two, one, slide or move.
Yes, good spectrums.
Okay, okay, yeah, that's a spectrum.
Nice.
Yeah, no one stand on the neutral line. It's pretty good.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, I'll go with I'll go with the side that's more lesser. So like, there's a lot of people here. I'll let three of you guess what is their opinion, what is their perspective. Like, why do they disagree on this? Why is it not good to turn left when it's on red light, but there's no one coming? Any
Okay,
three of you have any idea?
so loud to be clear, you're letting who guess for, and Jose, you're on the most extreme one, yeah?
Yeah, I'm letting Jose, George, and Quantum to guess you guys' ideas first.
Okay, ideally we're going to pick one line instead of the whole group because otherwise it's just this side versus that side. So, Jose, since you're the most
Okay.
extreme over there, why don't you guess why Venia is on the most extreme over here? That would be the first step.
Sure.
Yeah.
Okay. All right. The people over there disagree because somebody designed that intersection to have a red arrow light. So maybe they're saying it's unsafe to turn left at that particular intersection, and they value safety and sort of being a law-abiding citizen.
Said the tire.
Said the tire. I will say my reason is not so strictly systems based,
Okay,
but I can understand that being a reason.
cool. Interesting. So now loud.
Okay.
Yeah, go ahead.
Okay.
Know the next step.
So is that all the reason, Mania? Or like there's other reason too?
There's others.
There's others. Jose, do you have any other idea? Any guesses?
They like to sit at the intersection to meditate about life, so they're using that opportunity to stay there.
You little tire thief! You're stealing the
like
things
that
I
one.
told you I do. I love it. So direct hit on Hey Yo. Let's say.
We got accidentally hit. Okay.
That's so accidental. Is that yours, Venia?
Maybe
'Cause
not,
if it
Venia.
would, that would be crazy.
No.
To have Zen
I have a reason.
Okay.
Yeah, but it is not that.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Cool. So now
That is funny though. It's really funny.
don't laugh at my reason. It's legit and it works. And I encourage you all to take this on.
Meditating in the middle of a road seems inadvisable.
No, it's micro meditations, and you use the red as an invitation to pause.
In the middle of a literally most important motor function.
Hold on. You are literally pausing. So you might as well
Literally? I'm creating issues.
might take a deep breath while you pause. Try it. It really works.
Okay. Back on track.
I love George's expression right now. Your avatar just looks like you are such a freak. But I'm from Portland, so I just have to say, Portlanders would totally get
Portland.
that.
Yeah, that explains it.
Yeah. Okay.
It's okay to meditate during red lights, but not too long, guys.
Yeah.
Well,
It's the other side
okay.
of Portland, but yeah. Anyways.
That's why we call it micro.
Yeah, micro meditation. That's it.
Okay.
It's gonna be viral. This will be the video because we are streaming micro meditation.
The new
Okay.
TikTok trend.
Yes, exactly. We could do a whole thing. You stressed
That
by
would be
traffic?
terrible.
Take a deep breath.
POV, me meditating in the middle of the road.
65 on a highway.
Okay, but we're train wrecking this.
Okay,
Matt
okay.
has an idea.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, so now, Josie, do you have any other idea?
He's guessed twice, so that side gets to guess twice, and now Venia gets to give their reason because it wasn't guessed.
The other person doesn't get guessed?
Nope. We've encouraged people to
Wow.
pick passionate places. So to start this out, we're going to go with the classic
Yeah.
rules, and then we can play around with more. But yeah, is that Venia's logic? Or what?
Sure. Yeah, sure. Okay.
All
so,
right.
Venia,
So,
do you mind to clear your reasons out for them?
Yeah. So my presumption, and this is actually one that I have thought very heavily about as well, is it is better to leave an intersection situation before it becomes a situation. So in the event that things are not congested at the intersection, proceeding forward means that you will not be there when it does become complicated. So it's part of allowing things to move through, keeping things running, not clogging the system, and also making sure you yourself don't contribute to the problem.
That's a brilliant answer, and I think you're on the wrong side. I think you belong over there with
Yeah.
Oh no, that's not my reason. That's my guess.
Oh.
That's my guess
No, you
for
had
what
to
Jose
say-
thinks.
That's nice. But you had to say your reason for why you're on that side first. But that's okay. We'll go with.
See, I was guessing Jose's.
I know.
My
that's
bad.
Nice.
I can give you my reason.
Yeah, do it.
Okay, so I'm an avid motorcyclist. And as a motorcyclist who spends a lot of time around a lot of cagers and cars, it is terrifying. Same thing with pedestrians. It's also terrifying. And the wonderful thing about cars is that you cannot see through them. So if everyone is adhering to specific rules, we become more expectable. And the last thing you want to do is add an unexpected situation to the road in which someone else is expecting you to behave differently. That's my reason. That's my opinion. As a motorcyclist, if a vehicular car were to behave unexpected at the red light, for instance, turning when I don't expect them to, I could imagine that putting my life on the line.
Yeah.
That's also
Yeah,
interesting.
that was
Yeah.
that was also my reasoning for staying over here. Not the motorcyclist part, but like just the part that like the red light at the intersection is like not even just like a system, but like more of like a social contract. Like you're kind of expected to like kind of like follow the expected like reaction you would have to arriving at the intersection just so there's no confusion.
Yeah.
But yeah.
Interesting. Okay, and Venia has. Go ahead.
Would it be bad to move early?
Yes. No, you gotta.
Oh, we're not moving yet.
Okay.
Hold
All
the
right.
line.
No, not doing that yet.
Okay, you're already convincing people, Venia. Shush. Okay. So
Okay.
Venia has already guessed Jose's, so now we get to ask Jose if Venia's guess was correct. Trying to move people out of the intersection.
No, but it's a good reason, but that's not.
Okay. The tire says
Okay.
no. Have another guess?
Do I have another guess? I think it's a matter of respect for individuals' time. If the system is just impeding a person's progress for no reason, it makes no sense for them to listen to it. Maybe that's another reason.
That's exactly it. I would not have said it that way. That's a very nice way of putting it. I was basically saying I gotta go somewhere right now, so I'm just gonna go.
He's tired of waiting.
Red Schmed, if nobody's there to interrupt it by smashing into you, just go. That's Jose's logic. Okay.
Yeah.
Nice.
Burning rubber.
Okay. So for time's sake, 'cause we have
Okay,
a bigger
yeah.
group, I think the next step is giving us the chance to move our lines if we would like to move. That's my suggestion. Little earworm.
Okay, yeah. For the sake of time, we should start moving around. Go to the next step. Okay. 103. We're gonna move on what our opinion change, like how much our opinion changed. Okay. So 3, 2, 1. Start moving. If you guys want to. Okay.
Wow,
She did not convince me. It was the opposite.
The opposite.
Okay.
And Jose's now come more towards the yellow light method there.
Go up.
Alright. Interesting.
That's a lot of changes.
Yeah.
Okay, let me
Whole
see.
crowd on the law side.
This is. Hi,
Hello, Gubsy.
Welcome,
Oh my
welcome.
gosh.
I had
It's
to
a
run
Gubsy
around.
sighting.
I'm
Who
sorry.
moved?
Welcome. Glad you're here.
Who moved the most? Let me see.
Yeah, I'm glad I'm here.
I think Quantum.
Quantum move.
I only moved
yeah.
like one
Vania?
line, but
Yeah.
I moved.
Jose moved
I moved 2
also.
lines.
I moved 1.
Yeah.
Okay. So maybe, but Quantum, you
Did you
went
move
the most
3?
extreme. Who moved 3? Let's ask Quantum.
Okay, so we're gonna go with him. Yeah, Quantum will go first because it's like most extreme.
For my reasoning, or okay.
Yeah.
So, as another fellow motorcyclist, I guess I was originally on the medium agree because I don't usually like agree with turning left on a red, but the main reason I moved is that motorcycles do not usually cause a light to change. So, say I'm at night
Pressure.
in my town, there's lights that will not change if I sit on them as a motorcyclist because you just don't have the weight or the bigger vehicle to cause either the weight, if it's a weight pressure version, or magnetic, it still won't cause it. So I could be sitting there for like 4 runs before it just changes randomly. So usually my rule is I let it run through one cycle and then I'll take a left if there's nobody at the intersection.
Do you
Just
have a
because I'd be
3-cycle
sitting
rule?
there for like 10 minutes. I think is it 1 cycle or 3? I don't remember what they say for like the
Lawfully, it's
general
a
rule.
3-cycle rule.
Okay, so then yeah.
Lawfully, it's 3 cycles. For everyone else who's not a motorcyclist, this is an extremely common issue. So, like, oftentimes if we're sitting at an intersection and we're like waving you forward to come closer to us in the turn lane, it's because we can't trigger the pressure plate. So please come forward, right?
And I was like, wow, you're hitting on me in traffic. This is kind of weird. I don't know if I want to come closer.
Yeah, no. Because it won't
good to
change
know.
the light.
Yeah,
So.
but there's a specific law that essentially states if we have not been able to trigger it, then we can just go left on red anyway, but we have to wait 3 cycles. And 3 cycles is actually a lot of time. So a lot of motorcyclists, they'll actually kickstand their bikes, run over, and then hit the walk sign if they want to. Or other motorcyclists will just blow through it because it's just a waste of time.
Oh yeah. Blow through
But yeah, it's infuriating, and I totally understand that reason.
Yeah, I usually wait at least like 1 cycle and then usually get really mad and just go if it's safe. Because there's no way I'd be sitting there.
I am an audience member, I'm gonna, or a participant, I'm gonna speak out of turn and throw a little shade here, which we might turn into a question for next time. And this is for all the non-motorcyclists out there. Ugh, look at these motorcyclists making it all about them again. Anyways, again, yeah, but appreciate your that was totally me throwing shade. I don't ride with death quite like that.
At least you don't have to wait for 3 cycles
really
to move.
Painful. That does sound painful. Yeah.
I totally understand why you would just go. Yeah.
So
okay.
Yeah. One last question for
Okay,
Lau,
so
and then
next.
we're gonna move to the next one.
For the sake of time, I think we should move on because, like, is there any other one want to share?
Anybody feel really strongly about their line? Okay.
Yeah, I was gonna say George moves
Okay,
like 3
sure.
3 lines.
George, yeah, because he just switched aside. So go ahead.
Well, I just want to say what is incredibly fascinating is I moved because of the motorcycle theme again, but I moved in the other direction, whereas you moved that way for like the right of a motorcyclist to turn in these frustrating experiences. And I'm more like, oh, to be safer, this norm should be more solidified for everybody for the sake of our safety as motorcyclists. So even though we're both coming from the motorcycle angle, we still form different opinions off the same off of what you said, Vin. And that's just
yeah. That's exactly what happens.
Yeah.
The issues start to get kind of convoluted,
It's
and
really valid.
people don't always realize that they get inspired to be spinning totally opposite ways. Yeah. Let's all give Lau emojis for facilitating. Thank you, Lau. This was great.
Thank you. I'm not doing a good job.
You're doing amazing.
I'm not really experiencing
Wonderfully.
a lot
Doing
people.
You're absolutely great.
Beautiful
Yeah.
You did
job.
amazing.
Thank you.
Yes. And thank you for
I
letting me
appreciate for the
coach.
kindness.
Yeah. Okay, everyone back to neutral. Who would like to? Oh, we got a Ron. Is it Ronan? Ronan?
Hi.
Hello.
Sorry.
Welcome. No, glad you
Oh,
came.
Obviously,
hello.
I'm way late. Sorry about
That's
that.
okay.
And if you'd like me to leave,
Nope.
Oh,
Jump
no,
in.
no, no, no. You're
Jump
great.
in our line. We're
Okay.
just about to do our next question. Okay. So for this one,
That makes you right on time.
before I turn this
thank you.
over potentially to somebody who will facilitate this, I'm going to tell you the context on this. Somebody threw shade at me and my article on the game Palia this last week by literally saying the words, "The world needs violent video games," amongst many other shade throwing that was there. But it was a very striking statement from a high level developer, pretty deep in the gaming industry. The world needs violent video games. So, this is going to be our next piece. Somebody who has come here before and would also, don't mind me coaching them, would like to facilitate this. Raise your hand. Otherwise, I will facilitate this one. Okay, nobody's raising their hand. No tired hands.
Get up there. Hackano.
Oh,
Nice.
I'm
Okay.
being voluntold, I
All
guess.
right. So Ronan's top in this line.
Oh,
This line up
man.
here.
If I haven't only
This-
done
sorry.
this once, I would
This
have done it, but
That's okay. Keep learning. So this line that you're on, Ronan, is the neutral line, and I'm going to say 3, 2, 1, and you're either going to move one direction or the other. You're welcome to take on an argument here that is not your own, but don't tell us. Just really own it. And so if you strongly agree, you're going to go to the left. And if you strongly disagree, you're going to go to the right. And somewhere in the middle for each goes to a different line. So, but the goal is to stay off of neutral and actually get your juices ready to make your arguments and sway people your direction. And avatar changing to embody this is a plus, except I would say if your avatar has guns and lots of noise, be careful with that because that could be triggering for people. So be careful, but also playful. All right. So ready? 3, 2, 1, move. Look at that beautiful spectrum. This is what we're trying to get on these questions. I think about these questions all week because I'm really wanting to make sure we get spectrums, and we got it every time. It's so good. And Gubsy, looks like you are staying on neutral for now. Is that your choice?
I'm doing something a little different.
You're feeling
I'm doing
frozen.
something a little different.
Okay.
I want to say
this
frozen.
is Avatar load.
Maybe I'm
I
kind
don't
of wanting
know.
to subvert some expectations and go from this
Totally fair.
with
Fair enough.
a
This is
neutral
Avatar
point of view, an observer
load.
point of view, and listen to arguments. So I want to do something a little different.
There we go.
You're new to this, so we'll let you stay there, but I will keep bumping you off if possible on other questions. All right. Did I see somebody go to the extreme and then move off of the line of the
Yes,
extreme?
I thought of an exception to what I was thinking, so I moved. I'm sorry.
That's okay. That's okay. Okay, so we've got a lot of extreme people over here on a strongly agree. Guns out. Here we go. And we have a bunny rabbit in an army uniform. All right. No guns as part of your arguments, please. And then we have, oh, George, did you move over to the strongly disagree? Look at that. And Ronan's
Yeah,
over.
when
Okay.
Ren mentioned
Yeah, so-
exception,
so-
I reassessed the exception I had in my own mind and said, no.
Okay. So we've got our this is a little shade. We've got our Amish pacifists over here, and we have our take over the world with machinery over here. All right.
Yeah.
So raise your hand if you are on either of the extremes and you would like to take a guess at the other side and why they chose that. Whoever raises their hand first is going to be first side. Who would like to guess the other side first? Oh, here we go. the gun
I'll go
side.
first.
Quantum raised his hand first, so we're
Okay.
gonna go with Quantum.
Oh,
Yeah,
I mean, you can
Sure,
go
sure, sure.
first if you want, Lau. But...
No, you can go first. It's okay.
go Quantum.
All right. My guess would be you think that video games may cause violence if they have violence in them? Maybe.
Okay, so George and Ronan, do either of you, is that one of your reasons why the world does not need?
No,
No. Okay, and
no,
George? No.
not in that case.
Okay. Do you think that?
Kinda.
Okay. Medium.
But it would
Half.
take a lot more detailed explanation.
Indirect hit on the enemy
Half-
side.
That's right. Half battleship hit here.
Battleship.
Yeah, that's right. Okay. Lau, what is your guess as to why they chose that side?
I have two guesses, but one is like the educational side, so it might affect kids or people in like violent way,
Mm-hmm.
and it would affect their growth.
Mm-hmm. Is that it?
Yeah,
I that's actually close.
So say
actually
it the way,
close.
Another indirect hit.
say it the way that you would say it, Ronan.
Okay, so I would say that we have it's more that we have a very large portfolio of violent games already, and also like just media itself is drawn towards violence because it is actually a good seller. It's a great seller. But what I'm looking for is balance. And so I would look to say, okay, nonviolent games or not targeting violent games or even just pushing away from violent video games would help restore a balanced view of what life can be. It is not supposed to just be that somehow violence is the way in which we solve ultimately our problems.
Gotcha. Thank you. So Ronan is basically saying, even if pot roast is a great meal to have, it shouldn't be had every night. We need other kinds of meals, aka not gun-related violent meals, and we
An excellent way to put it.
only have meaty meals here. So we need other kinds of nutrients. And so the world does not need violent video games. We already have plenty. All right. So, George, you have been missed twice, it sounds like, or partial hit. Do you want to explain your other answer for why you strongly disagree?
Oh, I didn't quite understand, Lau, what you said. So,
it was basically Ronan's statement also of like the nutrients piece. We don't need it because we already have plenty of it.
oh, okay. Mine's a little different. I'm arguing that violent video games are violence simulations. And the only realm where they might be appropriate is in real military training use or in conflict training use. But even in those contexts, it's like you're still fueling conflict. And like it's already heavily exploited. It's already doing ridiculous amounts of harm around the world. And this publicly endorsed media funnel is just making more people normalize it. And you think it's okay because only 1 out of 1 million people do something awful. But I think by reducing that, we could reduce those already rare incidents to nearly nothing.
So George, to some degree, is saying school shooters correlation / violent people have been training off of violence, and we can reduce that even more. Does that fit?
Yeah.
I think maybe a more appropriate summation of that might be the cigarette rule, where it's like, yeah, we all agree that it's not a thing, and we're not going to make it illegal in any way, shape, or form, but we're maybe not going to have actors smoking on movies or TV shows, right?
Yeah. We're not going to encourage
I think maybe
behavior
that's a...
just because just because it exists doesn't mean we have to promote it and amplify it and fund it, kind of thing.
Yeah. Is that an analogy that maybe matches better?
Certainly. But I might be a little insulted that you would make that sort of comparison.
So sorry.
George might, that'll be a question for next week about cigarettes. But yeah, let's keep going. Okay, so this line over here, Ronan and George, we've got 3 gun-touting people over here.
Gun-touting.
Knives, guns, they've got all kinds of weapons under that clothing. So, yeah, who would like to guess why they're over there? And they're like, yes, the world needs violent video games.
Me.
Oh, okay. You got bypassed by Ren. Ren's going to guess.
That was an incredible animation.
Awesome.
Yeah. The flames rose.
Well, my what's the word? My exception to what I was thinking. Maybe that's somebody's reason over there, and I think that in some cases, like for like historical depictions of games or like that kind of storytelling, I think that can be kind of important and like valuable. So maybe something like that, like educational or something.
You find the gun games educational? Is that you meant, man?
I feel like
that was an indirect hit. No, a direct hit.
Shrapnel hit, let's just say.
Oh yeah, there we go.
Yeah. Okay.
For
but it
me,
is not my
at
full
least,
reason.
Yeah, like for me, it was like kinda almost part of my reason.
Okay.
Like,
so you just
kinda.
threw a dirty bomb over there, and people got hit with nails, but they're not dead. So, do either?
It was.
It
was basically
I'm pretending I know about violent video games. I don't know if that's a
yeah.
Okay.
Sorry. For me, it was like a full hit, but just like there's more
you sweet
to
summer
it.
child.
Yes.
Just worded differently.
I'm so innocent. That's right. Okay. So
yes.
Ronan and George, would you like to take a guess as to why this side needs weapons and in play?
Could I give it a try? Unless George, you've got something.
Go for it, Ronan.
Okay, great. Then I would say we tend to look at the history of how we are who we are, or how our nations became what they are, or the events that we think shape our lives, and all of them have predominantly an ultimate violent victory. So therefore, we have to acknowledge that as part of our history, and therefore we want to have that represented in our leisure activities, that being in video games.
Okay. So, side note to everybody here who thinks they're going to facilitate, part of facilitation is reflective listening. And so I'm going to give this back to Ronan, and we're going to see how close I got it. So, Ronan, did you mean that because humans have a history of killing each other, and that is kind of a primal, natural part of life, we need that representation in our play also, and to give people that outlet?
Correct.
Okay. So
that's right.
Anybody? Did he get it? For anybody here? Nope.
No.
Wow.
I can say.
Oh, cool. Total miss.
Oh, you got Venya a little bit. Which is.
I can say it's sort of related to mine.
Okay.
I am very clearly only on an agree path, but a large majority of the reason for that is because I view games as art, and just like all other pieces of art, like Saving Private Ryan is critically important for our culture for a reason, and historical depictions put aside, the art of warfare is an understanding of the human condition just as much as anything else. So when you think about a violent fantasy game that is trying to explore, say, mortality, that is an extremely important allowance to confer for artistic works. That having been said, there's a clear difference between Fortnite and Call of Duty versus Clara Obscura. Like, very big differences.
So this is interesting because the mildly agree has now inspired at least Lau over here. Lau got very excited when Vinny was talking. This feels like an
Yeah, because
like
I'm so
subterfuge. Your mildly agree people are championing your strongly agree people. Clever if you all are
I'm
typing
so
to each other.
excited that. Oh my bad. I'm sorry. I'm so excited that I'm not the only one who thinks
You're good.
game is art. Yeah.
There you go. Okay,
Continue.
so you got Laos. So this is interesting. Like, you know, there are some surprising experiences over here. Before we say 3, 2, 1 move, what are one key point that was missed for each of you, starting with Hukuno?
Yeah, I was also gonna lean on the video games are an art form and my thing is that there's kind of like a difference between like a glorification and just a depiction. I feel like one of the it's also kind of like a media literacy type of thing. I feel like one of the most misunderstood games somehow, even though it's kind of like literally like thrown in your face the entire time, is like Hotline Miami. The whole like sort of premise of that game is that you're just like a violent like murderer, and like the game kind of like constantly gives like you this like unsettling feeling and like imagery, and like it is actively telling you that like yeah, you're doing these violent acts but you're not supposed to enjoy it. And even the sequel goes deeper into that, where like you're playing as the quote unquote fans, like the people that did like revel in the violence of the first game, and ultimately you just find out that these so-called fans are like empty. They're not understanding the message, that like they don't really have any power or sway. They're just
Okay.
consuming something just out of sheer what's
Yeah.
the word I'm looking for? Depravity, I guess.
And impulse, right? Because
Yeah.
it's hacking our primal brains. So Hakuno is making another point here, which is the only way to reach people who have the instinct for violence is to teach them from that place in a harm reduction kind of way. And
Can I counter that?
teaching this teaching the story of it is actually
we'll do that after we move.
helping people kind of explore the fantasy in a safe way without actually indulging in it. That some of these violent video games might actually be therapeutic to reduce violence potentially.
So I wouldn't say it was that. I wouldn't say it would be that.
Not
I would just
that
say
far.
that like there's like obviously like works that like glorify the violence, but there's obviously other works that like demonize it in a way of like not in like the direct way of just saying violence bad, you shouldn't do it, but by making the viewer or whoever's playing it like actually feel bad about the violence.
Yeah. So maybe not it's going to reduce violence in physical reality, but it just helps people feel the effects of that instinct.
Yeah, like there's like actual consequences for that like gratuitous
gotcha.
violence.
Okay, thank you, Hakuno. So for the sake of time, we're going to hold off on counter arguments for now. I know. Sorry. Hold your fire.
We're gonna switch first.
Oh wow, that sounds like a violence thing. Okay.
Ultra
Quantum
fun.
shock. Wow, you are embodying it in your name, in your avatar. What argument did we miss from you? That
Mine is basically Ren's, but I don't know if I should be on a different line. Probably like only the middle agree. But I do agree that if you look into the lens of like video or like violence in video games as a historical piece, some of them are really realistic, and with how crazy graphics are getting now, I think video games can truly show like how bad wars can get and how damaging they can be on the populations of both of the countries. And then the thing that Ren missed was that I agree that it's also a double-edged sword, in that, like, say for the school shooter idea, like if you're looking to replicate that, it could be a way of doing that. So
Right.
that's like the double-edged sword
I see.
idea.
But your thought is that by there's a therapy of sorts of playing the games, you get to experience it safely.
Yeah, like it's a safe way of viewing history, I guess.
Okay, gotcha.
But
But it could also encourage a fantasy that turns into real violence. So you're saying you chose
This
the
is
wrong
me
line.
breathing fire, since I can't argue.
Dragoness is like roar with fire. Okay, well done, Quantum. Maybe get some flame retardant on that armor if you don't have it.
yeah,
The fire is
might
I
have
boiling.
think it sounds like we're
Yeah,
gonna hear that
Kevlar
opinion.
is also flame retardant.
Okay, good to know. Good to know. You're ready
Flame
for war.
retardant.
You're ready for the fire. All right, Lau, you got 1 minute. Do you have anything else to add? 1 minute.
Yeah. Okay. So just the fact that just the sake of creativity and freedom, I think violent game should be also added. Like violent element should be added, and also the concept of balance, because that should be balance in like violence game and other games. So that's basically it.
So you're slightly agreeing with Ronan over there. Interesting.
Yeah.
You're
I have one tiny
caving.
thing to add.
You're caving from this side. Both of you are caving. I think Hakuna's the only one solidly on this line anymore. All right. I know you want to say more, but we are on a schedule. So I'm going to say 3, 2, 1, and I'm going to invite you all to move lines if you would like, or stay solid on the one you've picked. 3, 2, 1, move. Wow. Jose and Sim moved 1 line. Quantum moved 1 line. Allow did not move, even though Lau is agreeing with the enemy. And Ren moved 1 over. So we've got more anti-guns.
So
and
combative.
less pro-guns. I know. It's the one time I get to actually make war metaphors and it not just be more divisive. Okay. So
you do you, boo.
Thank you. Of those who moved, raise your hand if you would like to explain why you moved. Actually, and I think Gubsy might have moved, which is awesome. So Gubsy, even though you're not raising your hand, would you like to
moved,
explain
yeah.
why you moved?
Yep.
How did this side capture you?
Oh my god. I don't even know how to. I've been trying to figure out how to explain why I moved before I even moved.
Nice.
Because it was either going to be over here or the slightly moved, and I couldn't decide because my whole thing is just too nuanced. But the reason why I came over here was because I kind of just had this like maybe I don't know nihilistic thought that like or cynical thought that no matter what you do, no matter what you do to explain if the media is depicting the violent media in of itself has a meta commentary saying that violence is bad, people consume it anyway. And they're just gonna it doesn't change anybody. I consume it anyway. So I'm going we need less of it.
Mm.
And this is coming from someone who plays a lot of violent video games.
Interesting. Well, that's a case to be made. Conversely, as a side point, the next day after this shade got thrown at me to some degree, somebody in Palia, the game that was being called a failure because it wasn't violent, actually wrote spontaneously to me when I was asking them about why they played Palia. They said, "This game has cured me of violent video game use. I didn't ever have that goal, but I have found it incredibly addicting to be helpful to people and give people things that they need. And this is all I play now for over a year. And I didn't realize it until recently that I don't play anything violent anymore, even though I've been a lifetime gamer." And that was fascinating in a weird timing kind of way that came up just organically. I'd never even conceived of that as an idea that you could somehow wean yourself off by learning a game of generosity. That still makes me uncomfortable to say. Okay, George is furiously waving his hand. I know other
This is
people
quick
probably
because
want.
VR
Yes.
chat had a very similar effect on me. My history before VR chat was mainly shooters, and now it's like
Yeah.
this is more fun doing stuff like this.
Yeah, it chilled you out, and you got to the connection part. Okay. All right. Any final thoughts that you're gonna go to the grave wishing you'd said, but you didn't get to say before we switch to the last one? All right. Quantum's got one
Ren.
left.
I'll add the
yeah,
tiny
Ren's got
thought
plenty.
I'll add the tiny thought I had before. It was just an example of why it can be used as like historical or like educational like games like with violence. This game called This War of Mine would be, I think, a really good example because in that game you're playing as basically a civilian like going through a war trying to like live because during the day in the game there's snipers and if you
Interesting.
leave your shelter you'll get shot. So you have to
Wow.
go at night and stealthily through.
So it's like
I haven't actually played the game, but I've heard many really good things about it.
Interesting. So it's teaching you basically what the bystanders experience and how hard that is.
Yeah, like what it was like during wars.
Okay. Hakuna's raising their hand, but I'm also realizing Ren can't raise her hand, so we're gonna let her raise some fire here. 1 minute, and then we're gonna switch to the next question. Go.
Okay, I'll leave it to like one-liners, I guess, because like I could say a whole thing. I'm losing my time. Okay, so for the whole like outlet thing or like having a way to like experience these things, that is so fucked up to me because it's like it reminds me of those like pedo dolls, you know? Like yeah, let's just give it to them for an outlet. Like that's so fucked up, and we all know that it's fucked up. You can't fucking like. The outlet doesn't heal it, okay?
Uh-oh. Okay.
It hardens it, and like that's how you like, you know what I mean? So that's that. And then yeah, the normalization thing. I think like we already live in a society that like I think there is more entertainment that's violent in America than anywhere else. And what's the most like, you know, how many kids are fucking dying in America compared to everywhere else? I'm just saying. You know what I mean? So there's that. And then also, what kind of person fucking spends hours creating torture scenes in a video game to make it look good? Like, are you what? That is so. What a weird way to spend your day. I'm sorry. That's. I'll stop. That's it. Thank you.
Okay, let's all give Ren some fire for having a mic drop moment. All perspectives were really valid here, and Ren held her perspective for so long. We need to give her some fire back. Okay, all right.
I might actually support everyone's.
All right. So thank you everybody for this one. We have one more, and Hakuna, I'm gonna keep us going, but I appreciate you.
Okay.
We have one more, so everybody back to neutral. And would anybody volunteer to facilitate this most contentious one? Religion should always have a place in society. Let's see. Do we have any hands who have been here before?
I don't want you to have to do the next one. The next one too.
Venia's raising her hand.
I'll do it if no one else
is.
is.
Go for it, Venia.
Okay.
All right.
Okay, so here's the big doozy, as if the last one wasn't.
Contentious.
So for this specific one, which is going to be primarily about religions, I do want to bring up once again community guidelines, especially when it comes to bridge makers, of that aspect of respect and looking at another person's perspective. That having been said, though, religion should always have a place in society is a really big question that a lot of people have been grappling with as we become more global, as we become more intercultural, and as the world and science and theology start to clash more and more online. So we are going to, on a count of 3, make sure that you think a little bit about all of those different perspectives in your brain. On a count of 3, we're going to go ahead and move on our scales. 3, 2, 1, go. Okay.
Woo.
And George, I absolutely saw that waving hand for you there, but we just want to make sure everyone gets placed.
Okay. Look at that.
Okay.
Lovely.
So let's take a quick minute, look around the room. It's got a lot of people on one side. So I'm going to go ahead and start over here with Hea, Ren, and Quantum, who seem to be a little bit outmatched. So Hea, specifically, would you be willing to guess why others on the strongly agree side might believe the way that they do?
Well, my joking one is that they are all undercover. What is it? The door-to-door.
Can't even finish.
Jehovah's Witnesses.
Jehovah's
Jehovah's
Witnesses.
Witnesses.
This is a lineup of Jehovah's Witnesses, and there are no doors to knock on in VR, but they're finally coming out. And get ready, because it's Bible study time. Okay, so that's. Did I get it? Guessing.
Nah.
Okay.
Love it.
You're welcome.
Oh, that's
You're
so
welcome.
funny.
That's my joking version. My serious version would be that you are all recognizing that when we eliminate religion, we start targeting spirituality. And when we target spirituality, we lose the spirit of what it means to be human and have faith and believe in things we can't see or all agree on. And that diversity of thought is an incredibly important part of being human together and practicing tolerance and sometimes even
Yeah.
just a sincerity of belief that we don't have proof behind yet.
That was exactly like my answer. Like,
Hey, direct hits.
cause like yeah, like I kind of see it as like I feel like a lot of people when they get that like whole like religion sort of topic brought up, they immediately think of like the organized religions, like the organized Abrahamic religions, and they don't think of like the cultural and historical aspect of religion with like humanity as a whole. Like that would be eliminating cultural practices that people have done for thousands of years. Like I couldn't like in good faith like support just like religion not being a thing at all. Even though like I'm not like a super like religious or faithful person, like I would not like want to like just straight up eliminate like cultural and spiritual practices just because like I want to be like the edgy atheist and be like checkmate Christians. Like God didn't do that.
All right. We won't explain too much further past that, but
a mug.
well, I'm glad that we managed to hit spot on, so to speak.
Yeah.
Are there any other guesses from the strongly disagree side for other reasons Ronan and Lau might be where they are?
Ren, Quantum, help over here.
Oh shit, my mic was muted. I was just gonna say maybe community and stuff like that, and like having like a reference for morals, maybe.
Okay, so it sounds like religion might be a basis for a lot of moral. Does that resonate with you, Ronan?
Yes, it does. Well, sorry, sorry, Ren. I thought I heard you also say that it was also about community as well.
Yeah.
And that is actually an important thing too, because often where we find oh, sorry, I should actually disclose. I'm actually a lay preacher. So I actually put church services together and sermons, and I'm actually finishing up a certification course on that. But what I want, but you know, trying to of course keep that open mind here is the fact that simply, you know, a lot of communities exist as a result of religion, and belonging is an incredibly important part of how we actually interact and how we build confidence in our interactions with other people. And it's and sorry, most religions actually have that set up. It's inherent within their institution. So, whereas it's kind of something different when it starts becoming, when it has to come out of a different place, and often in terms of, as you point out, Vinia, the idea of morals, where do those come from, and where did they actually historically start? So that's and often you'll find that yes, it actually is started by a religion. Those cultural norms also are part of how these other communities or communities are formed in that case. So I'll stop there.
It's a really good concept, a really good idea. And I might turn that around right back to you and ask, why do you think some people on the other side might disagree with you?
Oh, okay. Then I'm going to say, I'm just trying to. I will say that there will be many reasons. The one that I'm going to push out there is just very similar to what you found, what Hayes has actually said, which is that religions traditionally, or at some point in their evolution, turn into intolerance. Okay, they do turn out, they do start saying, oh, I need to keep my faithful going. Well, how am I going to do that? I'm going to be intolerant of anyone outside of it.
Yeah.
So I will work on mission and conversion as part of my requirement. And as a result, atrocities happen, and they do. Okay, so like that's something to that's kind of what I would put out there. So I'll stop there.
Wow.
Okay.
Cool.
Okay, no one loud. Do you have any big guesses?
Yeah, my my guess was kind of also something similar. Just like the sort of like usual things that people associate with organized religion, like the overly heavy-handed attempts at trying to influence like the greater society, the intolerance, that sort of stuff.
Does that resonate with anyone on the other side?
The intolerance part is part of my reason.
Yeah.
Do you want to go deeper into that?
Should I give like my full reason or wait for more?
It's entirely up to you. We could also wait until everyone moves before you decide to.
I'll just do it now, I guess. I'm on mildly. I guess what is the middle? Maybe disagree.
No, it's
What is it?
just
It goes from
disagree.
mildly to strongly.
Disagree.
Oh,
Yeah.
just agree. Okay. Yeah.
Yeah.
So I should probably be on mildly then, but I don't know. Religion hasn't really done anything for me. My parents are Christian, and I tried it. It was good for the community part, like we has been said, but um, I just feel like if God were real, then he would actually be doing something worthwhile, and that has not happened in my life, nor like globally with the many different like deaths or famines or wars that are happening or have happened.
So to rephrase, um, by God would be doing something worthwhile, you mean something tangible would be occurring to improve your life or
Yeah,
the life of those
basically.
around you. Okay. Yeah.
And then it would be mildly disagree because I don't want to stop people from believing in religion. It's not really like my thing. I just feel like that'd be disrespectful to them. So it's okay to believe in religion. I just don't really, just because nothing has happened for me.
Okay. So it sounds like there's something to be said for the impact of belief. Ronan, Hakuno, or Lau, do you have any other guesses that you'd like to do before we move on to the other side? Lau, looks like you do.
Yeah. my guess, one of my big guesses is like it can be used to manipulate communities, members, and heavily emotionally affect them in negative ways.
Mm. Yeah,
Mm-hmm.
that's a partial hit on my part.
Okay. Do you want to go into yours?
Yeah, so it's the concept of, and I want to hear Ren's more than my own, but I would say that religion is it's like training wheels for believing in what's here right now with each of us. And so we project that there's something big and amazing above us that's controlling our lives and giving us a sense of belonging or path or whatever. But that is a projection. It might be true, but it's also a projection. And we all project differently what that means. And religion is when we decide together on what that projecting means. Like we align our words and our rituals and our beliefs until eventually, without bad intentions, the road to hell is good intentions, right? Without bad intentions, we can do a ton of harm to people. We can brainwash them, we can cause them great illness, and that intolerance becomes exclusionary and becomes predatory. It becomes predatory of bringing people in and exiling people to death, to torturous death. And so it's a slippery slope where it can become incredibly incestuous and egoic, believing that we know better than anybody else and we have some direct line to God that nobody else does, and we have the right set of beliefs. And it can do a lot of harm. And so the
So
statement,
that's a
it should always have a place in society. I believe that society can evolve to a place where religion is respected as a historical bridge to being present with each other, radically fucking present with each other and our planet and the moment that we are in together. And pulling all that energy that we put out there on the devil and God and government and church and all these dualities, we pull it back in right here, right now, and we allow for the possibility that God is somewhere in between all of us in each breath we take. And we can keep it that simple and still do good with each other and still be human.
It's a lot to take in on that side and all other sides.
Yep.
A little bit.
Yeah. Thank you all for replying. So we're going to allow some opportunity to do responses, but I'd also like to bring some additional voices into the room. So what we're going to do is we're going to, on a count of 3, adjust our areas, and then we're going to have extra time after this for us to kind of piece apart what's been said so far. That way we have a little more diversity in the discussion from individuals who might be on the line. So let's go ahead and in 3, 2, 1, start to change your positions if you have changed. Okay.
And just noting that Rin didn't get to say her perspective, even though she's on the street.
Yeah, I was actually planning to start again with y'all, but I want to make sure that we have more there. Okay. So it looks like Gubsy and George switched. So I am curious to know, Ren.
George didn't switch.
Looking at that change, did that do anything for you?
No.
No? Okay. Can you explain, would you be willing to explain a little bit more of your position?
Yeah, I feel like this might be a little controversial. I feel like religion is patriarchy's oldest weapon, and I feel like that's very prevalent today. And I feel like the way that most major, the way that religion has like, how do you word that? Like, it's just so like ingrained in like government and all that stuff, and like to the point where even today like way back when like women were like actually just like, you know, the docile, submissive, whatever for the men in power. Like that still is how it is, and like because of religion, and like I feel um, like when women's rights are jeopardized because of religion. Yeah, I just feel like there should be a time and place for these things, and you should do it on your own, and it shouldn't be a part of like the whole thing. So, should it have a place in society? No, I don't think so. I think it should have a place in your home, but that's your business. So yeah, that's what I think.
Mini cults. Ren
Yeah,
advocates for
keep
mini
it.
cults.
Yeah,
Keep it a nuclear family cult. You can believe whatever you want.
yeah,
Okay.
yes.
Yeah. And from those who don't believe particularly as strongly on the agree side, what were your feelings to that or why you moved, George and Gupsy?
What specific?
Oh, were you going to ask for Claire?
Can you repeat it again? What was?
Yeah. So what has your reason been for moving as you've been listening to the conversation?
Um, um, Good God. My mind's like a constellation, I swear.
It's okay if you'd like more time to think.
Yeah, give me more
Beautiful
time.
mind.
Give me more time. Move on to
Sure.
George or somebody.
George?
Oh, I'm ready to go. I'm ready to go. So, first of all, I'm on the slightly agree situation with religion has a place in society, and my specific argument is very cynical. You can't get it out of the majority of humans have a strong inclination to religious practice in some form. So it is more useful to structure those religions broadly uh, for the most benefits and stability for society at large. And I think the cults in the home is the worst idea of them all, and how you're going to have way more division and way more what was that Waco situations and all that. So let's keep things traditional and predictable, please.
Mini
Rage,
cult.
Okay,
rage.
very interesting. Ren, it sounds like you were particularly impacted by that statement.
Yes.
Sounds like yes.
Do you want to briefly discuss why?
I think that it's way more dangerous when people are part of like what is the thing I read in *Sapiens* not too long ago when like humans have like a collective mindset over 150 people. That's like when the power really starts to set in, and you get like conditioned. That's where like there's so many like little effects that come from that. And I feel like obviously religion is like way much wider than that, but by keeping spirituality an internal experience and journey, like there's no cults anywhere, okay? This is just your life and what's happening for you, and that's it. Whereas if you have like institutions that are have this collective mindset, like that's how you start wars. That's how you like. That's not. Yeah, I feel like that's way more dangerous. It's kind of like a mob thing, kind of at that point, you know. So.
Wow.
Lots of passion spoken about. From anyone who hasn't yet had a chance to speak, would you like to add anything to the conversation before we close it out?
Like 1 minute, and then we got to close because we want to do our checkout circle and photo. Yeah.
Anyone we haven't heard too much from?
Like
Gabsy, Simulations, Jose.
Yeah.
I have realized that not every people focus on the moral value of the religions and the value it brought us, spiritual way, mental, moral value, educational side. Most of you are thinking about like
The impact.
It's like a physical value and like what it contribute instead of like what it affects us human in spirit, in mental way, and in like our growing. It's more of affected all of our society in a big group, and the negative side of it, which is like, you know, weaponized, manipulating. But this brought us some good things. So should they have a place? Is the question. It's not like are they really all negative things, but it's also like should they have a place? Because if you are disagreeing on it, it's just killing it. It's just like remove it, and it becomes history.
Or her story, if the patriarchy is as big as you said. Okay, so brilliant.
Okay.
Let's all give Venya
Thank you.
emojis for facilitating this one. It's one of the harder ones because it gets all of our blood pumping so much. This idea, we all have been touched by this. And then let's come over here. Thank you, Venya. Let's come over here to do our checkout. So some of you have done this before. This is probably one of our biggest spectrum events we've ever had. So it's lovely to have each of you here. This is a time where we play this invisible ball game called the appreciation game. And what we do is we throw this swirling ball of energy of all the emotions and shade and jokes and everything that's been happened today. We're going to throw this around and we're going to acknowledge one person who grew us in something that they did or said. But there's a stretch in that. It's not just about picking our favorite person to say thank you. It's about picking somebody who has not been picked already and would be most surprised to receive it from us. So they probably haven't even known we were paying attention or listening, or we really like something about them. This is about linking to the other, whatever the other is for us. And there's a temptation sometimes to throw it to everybody at the same time, try to keep it to one person. And the game gets a little harder as you get to the end because you've got to keep track of who's already been picked. So I'm going to put the swirling ball of energy in the middle. Who would like to grab it and throw it? Okay, Gubsy's going to do it first. Oh, wait, George just intercepted.
Drop the ball.
Damn.
George put it back.
Sorry,
Okay.
Gubsy.
Gubsy, why don't you go grab the ball that you raised your hand for? And there you go. Okay. Oh, magnetic. All right. So once you throw it, try to play this game with your body, even if you're on desktop. Holding your body language open as if you're holding a ball is a way to receive an acknowledgement and mirror each other.
Wait,
so,
is that possible?
Yeah, you do it for yourself, even if we can't see it. If you're on desktop, you just hold your hands open, that sort of thing. Okay, Gubsy, go. Who are you going to throw it to?
Okay, I wanted to throw it to Ren actually because I like the way that they articulated the patriarchy element when it came to religion, and it kind of facilitated added some nuance into my view about the whole religion thing because I come from a more materialist analysis on the whole thing, but it kind of like interwoven in, and I kind of just had this huge insight in my head, and just was this beautiful thing. So I appreciate Ren for doing that, and I feel like, you know, oh, it feels really good.
That's lovely.
Gosh,
Thank you,
thank you.
Gubsy.
Yeah, of course.
One at a time, Ren. You got him. Now you got the ball.
I want to throw it to you. Hey, there's something at the very start, where like within like 20 minutes or something, or like even less of being here, I did come late. You were talking about
Who are you throwing it to?
hey, you.
Oh, thank
Yeah.
you. Okay.
Catch. Surprise.
Shocked.
Yeah, because you said something at the beginning, where we want to practice, or I don't know if you use the word host, but the host wants to show reflective, reflective listening. And I was just like, oh man, every time I come to one of your events, I learn something, and like it was just like a nice thing, like to get it so soon. Obviously, there's so much more to come from the event, but it was just like a moment there. It was just gratitude.
Yeah. Thank you for that. Facilitators are taking what is like, let's pretend you're all jazz instruments, and facilitators are harmonizing the jazz. And part of that is to tune in and retune some of those instruments so that everybody can hear and jive with it. And so facilitator is bridging, and part of that has to do with clarifying and summarizing. And that takes a very intense type of active listening. It's hard, but over time you get better at it. You just have to keep practicing it. Even if you're not facilitating, pretend you are when you're listening to people and say, how would I give this back to them so that they can say, yeah, you get it? Because until people vent what they need and feel received and feel heard, they can't move off of those lines. And I don't know if this is true either way, but Ren didn't get to share her extreme opinion about religion before people moved, right? And I would have 100% predicted that Ren would not move off her line. You might not have either way, but when you're holding,
I would like to mention I did do that on purpose.
It's interesting, right?
I would like to mention I did do that on purpose.
Technically, that breaks the rule a little bit, right? And the rule is giving people from the extremes someone to hold their argument who actually believes the opposite. We're bridging by doing that. And when you're holding my argument over there and you get me, I can soften to your argument and I can come over towards you. And when I can't have anybody hold it, then I'll hold on to my extreme. So thank you for that. And I'm going to throw the ball now. I shouldn't have done that, but I love offering this. It's a really important tool for facilitation. Okay. So who am I throwing this to? I am throwing this to Sim. Put it in your lap. There we go. All right, Sim, I'm throwing you the appreciation ball for being present and letting me nudge you off the middle. And also somewhat secretly predicting to everybody that Sim is actually building our street epistemology world. And so Sim is here doing field research and is learning how we do this game so we can have our own world for it. So if you know resources, world builders, support to throw our direction, you can contact me or Sim. But Sim is in progress with that. So thank you for being here and also letting me pull you out of neutral so you could hold space with all of us. And who would you like to throw the ball to? And you're going to have to type it so we all get to breathe like we're at a red light. Well, Sim types.
I won't turn left. I won't turn left. I won't turn left.
Even though I'm a motorcycle, I won't turn left. Throwing it to Ren. Oh, Ren gets it twice. Okay.
Oh,
Ren, catch it. All right.
I
We're going
like
to
that.
pretend. I liked how. Sim had this typed out already. I liked how Ren spoke up about how religion is the oldest tool in the patriarchy. That was probably the first time I actually heard someone say it. Ever heard someone say it? Yeah. Lovely. Wow, you're getting two kudos.
Wait, I can't see the. I heard someone, first time I actually heard someone what?
I'm finishing a sentence there.
Speak about the topic.
Yeah, speak about the topic in VRC, and it's something I have strong feelings for and have struggled with since I was a kid, since I grew up in a relatively religious environment where women are viewed as less than their male counterparts. Thank you for expressing that. Thank you. Welcome.
Thank
Who's
you.
finishing up?
I'm glad that resonated.
Thank you.
Yeah. You get it twice, Ren. You bring up patriarchy,
boy,
you're going to be
okay.
all the popular. All right.
Oh, yeah.
Should I throw it again to
Throw it
someone?
again.
Okay.
Yeah.
Sorry, I'm really blind.
Vinia.
Vinia?
Catch the ball, Vinia.
Yeah.
I'll throw it to you. I like that you took initiative to facilitate twice, and you did a great job. And every time that somebody, including myself, had a particularly passionate take or needed help understanding or whatever, you were very patient with them, and I really enjoyed the hosting atmosphere that you brought.
Absolutely. Thank you. That means a lot to me. I appreciate it. I would actually like to throw mine over to Ronan.
Ronan,
yeah, I just want to say the impact, the fervor, and the passion that you had regarding the religious subject was only matched, even though you were on such a far line, it was only matched by a great and diverse amount of empathy. across the entire spectrum. So I just want to say thank you so much for taking the position and then maintaining a broad perspective. I really appreciate that. Takes a lot of courage and a lot of braveness, and it really exhibits what this event is about and what it's for. So thank you.
Thank you.
Okay, thank you.
Really good naming. Yeah.
Okay, then I'm going to. Okay, I'll say this, full disclosure. I would have sent, if I had gotten the ball first, I would have sent it on to Ren. Okay, so but I think Ren is going to get a few more balls at this point. So I think it would be, we need to facilitate. Actually, I'm going to hand the ball to Hakuno. And okay, and I felt that you also had expressed a number of points with respect to, especially in the area of the games side of it, having violence in games. That essentially, that again, similar to Venia, that there is that point of art, but there's also that just that expression that needs to be put out there. And so I thought that was great. It helped me learn something very important. Okay, in that case.
Yay.
Okay, thank you. Let me see who I want to throw it to. I think I'm also gonna throw it to Vinia. I really,
supposed to pick one who hasn't been picked, but okay.
Oh shit.
Yeah.
Yeah, like it was also kind of like a similar thing where it's just like I really appreciate the way you facilitated, like the times you stepped up to facilitate. Like definitely was a very good facilitator and make me think about like my own hosting style a little bit, like in our community. And it was the same thing also with Hey You, like where like yeah, like the active listening thing kind of like made me think like I should like start making use of that. That is actually a really good tool to use.
That's really good to hear.
Thank you. Appreciate that. And yeah, it's huge. Also, hello. Thank you. I appreciate that. I also would like to send it over to Lau as well for your participation, both as a participant and a facilitator. I think you did really great jobs at juggling those different roles and being quite articulate and quite an expert at doing that. So thank you.
Yeah. Most experienced facilitator.
Thank you.
Epistemology versus Benny and I. You've done the most volunteering. Appreciate you.
Thank you for the recognition. So I will throw the ball to Gubsy.
Yay.
Okay.
Oh, we got a zigzag throw there.
Okay, I like to appreciate your effort and attention span, even though you're quite new here. I like to thank you for spending your effort and really try to understand what's going on. It's a bit overwhelming here because like it's a lot of people in this event. It's the first time, to be fair. So thank you.
I appreciate that. Thank you.
Yeah.
George,
catch the ball.
I'm throwing to you.
Oh, you hit him on the head.
Casting a ball spell.
Oh, in the mouth. Wow.
Oh, I'm sorry to the next person that gets that.
Not a
anyway.
marshmallow.
A little slobber on it. Okay. Caught it with a spell.
Ooh.
A lot of people new here to me. You're new, and you kind of stood out to me. So I don't know I don't know what it was, but you kind of stood out, and I kind of appreciate that. So it's really cool.
Yay.
You had some interesting things to say.
So much energy in your body when you're saying them. You're like,
Yeah, you got a lot of energy
toe.
going. That's
I feel like your toes have opinions in this game. So good. Yeah. All right, George. Who are you going to throw it to?
Quantum.
Quantum.
Oh,
Oh,
I almost dropped it. Has some kind of liquid on it. What's going on?
It's sloshy
No.
and
Yeah, hold
slippery.
tight.
Yeah.
Oh,
The
oh,
furry
that
is
was
like, yeah,
that was
it's
a
just a ball.
salient expression.
Nice. All
I
right.
really appreciate um, how you switched opinions and explained that throughout, especially the motorcycling change early on, because that just really showed me that you can't always predict or expect where people will go in response to the same exact arguments or ideas, no matter where they're starting. And we can't like project just because me and somebody else may be on a similar standing doesn't mean we're going to go in the same direction after the fact. And that was very mind-blowing to see that.
Yeah, I try to never let him know my next move.
Something about you saying that with these like shifty red eyes.
Please don't
and these
turn left.
Ears turned back.
Oh, geez.
It's like, whoa, I don't want to be behind you at a traffic light. I will not be breathing deep.
Right, oh, okay.
Got a little geek running around.
I'm going to throw it to the great Tire Man.
Tire, Jose. Catch the ball, Jose.
Michelin
The
star.
great Jose.
Oh, there we go.
For really embodying that first question with the not being afraid to move, on that strongly agree.
Now you're all going to be like, but officer, in street epistemology, I was inspired by the tire Jose Meta, and I'm part of the movement to just go at red lights.
I'm sorry, Ossifer. I have somewheres to be.
That's right. Just go. All right, Jose. Spreading the word.
Throwing this over to Geek because I appreciate Geek coming in here with this small cat energy that changed the I feel like it changed the vibe.
Definitely.
Oh,
Did we
definitely.
get everybody? I think we did. So Geek, you get to keep the ball unless you have somebody you want to throw it to somehow. Did we get everyone?
I throw it to bridge makers because you're all awesome.
Oh, let's give
Yay.
Geek emojis for that. Yay. Thank you, Geek. So let's grab a group photo. So let's all go stand.
Am I in some? Sorry. I'm in the tire. I'm sorry for that.
Sorry.
Fine. It works.
It works. Okay.
It's okay. Get
Okay.
cozy. It's fine. We have a tire
Okay.
between us.
Thank you.
What's our word for the day?
Thank you.
Appreciate it.
Patriarchy.
Yes.
Drive fast and don't pay attention to stoplights.